Hotep, Alafia, Kamusta. Welcome to the Mind of Ro page. I am Oba Jaguna, Oguna Salamio. Today I'm going to make a video on what happens when you curse people. So the last video I made was on how to appease the Orishas without giving a bow, because I am an Ianifa. I work with the Orishas very closely. So if you like that kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Mind of Ro. I also have a TikTok and Instagram and a Twitter at Mind of Ro, and I also have a Facebook business page at The Mind of Ro. So I always do my videos live on my personal Facebook page. So if you're watching this, please go like my Facebook business page at The Mind of Ro. And I also do readings. So if you would like to get a reading done, go ahead and shoot me a message or a comment and set an appointment. I do readings over video chat. And just let me know when you're ready for your reading. So first, before we get into it, first of all, what is a curse? So according to Google, I looked it up to see what exact terminology they use for it. A curse is an utterance intended to invoke a supernatural power to inflict harm or punishment on someone or something. So I'm going to give you some examples of what curses are. So a curse could be obviously doing magic on somebody, lighting some candles against somebody, feeding some deities or ancestors or whatever you work with, angels and demons, to basically go after people is an obvious curse. But that's not the only curses I'm talking about. There's all kinds of other curses that have nothing to do with occult work. An example is wishing karma on somebody. I'm sure a lot of people, everybody who's watching this has said at one time, karma will get them. That's actually cursing somebody. Another example of a curse is, I hope they hurt one day. I hope they go through that. I hope they go through this. And I hope they do this. And I hope that something happens to them. Which is basically cursing somebody. Another one, which is a lot of people don't think about, is wishing someone anything that goes against their higher purpose is considered a curse. So we all came here for a purpose, and we all came here to live that purpose. If we're not living that purpose, then we are basically cursing ourselves. So you could actually curse somebody by trying to take other people away from their higher purpose, convincing them to go against our higher purpose. That is, yes, considered a curse. This is an example of a parent who wants their son to be a doctor, but their son's actually meant to be something else in life. That is actually considered a curse. Another example is pretty obvious, is hoping a higher force of nature will do something. You go and you pray to God and say, God, can you please do this? Can you please do that? Or I hope some force of nature tries to do this and do that to somebody. It's basics of a curse. So those are some basic examples of curses. I know some of you were watching this and you had no idea some of these were considered curses. Yes, anything that is going to cause any distraught in someone's life, any misalignment with their higher purpose, misalignment with their peace and harmony is considered a curse. So cursing someone can definitely bring some temporary illusion of relief, but it does create bad karma debt on our soulful contract. I know sometimes it's hard. I get it. Trust me. I do not like my baby daddy at all. I mean, who does? A lot of us don't. Yes, I know we want to do some horrible things to exes that did things to us, or even our parents, which is the last people you should be cursing is family members and parents. I know, I get it. It hurts sometimes. But what happens when we curse people, and especially if they're related to us, it tends to turn around on us. So why? I can explain here why in a minute. Why? Because I can explain not only how it turns on us, or why it even works on other people. So why? Because your ashe, or in other words, may it be so power, is based on the weighing of the heart. This is why cursing works either on others or on ourselves. So, the ancient Cometians believe that the heart records all the good and bad deeds of a person's life and is used for judgment in the afterlife, where your heart is weighed against a feather of Ma'at. And Ifa suru and Ewe Puele is practicing patience and balanced character. Why do we practice that in Ifa? So we don't keep cursing ourselves. Another one in Hinduism. Karma is a Sanskrit word meaning act or deed, which is basically karma is the universal cause and effect. Therefore, you bounce a ball off a wall, it's going to bounce back and bounce somewhere. According to science, everything is based on cause and effect. So if we're not talking about universal wisdom here, we're actually also talking about science. Everything is cause and effect. So karma is basically, or curses are basically the consequences we create through our own actions or through another person's actions, for example. So for a person to be cursed, they have to be guilty of something. Curses only work on guilty hearts. I know some of you are thinking, well, bad things happen to good people. Remember this, your soul is much older than your body. The universe is constantly expanding. Therefore, your soul is an energetic force that existed and had experiences prior to making the soul agreement to come into this existence and to come into this reality. Therefore, anything that disturbs your peace and harmony is considered karma due to a guilty conscience, because we are all part of the universe, which is conscious. We are conscious beings, which means we are pure consciousness without our body, which means if you are guilty of anything, whether it even be before being born here, that karmic law, universal law, will follow you to this reality. So basically, to curse people, they have to be much more guiltier than you are. But because we are human and we cannot be perfect ever, that basically means you better be the most perfect person in the world if you think you're going to run around cursing people. Why? Because curses always are attached to you as well, just like blessings are attached to you. Therefore, the more blessings you give to people, the more blessings you will receive. Just like the Life Jennings song, do good things and good things will happen. This is a cause and effect. What you curse can return back onto you, and what you bless can be returned back onto you. Because even if you're so egotistical and prideful and you don't want to admit that you were wrong for cursing, subconsciously and unconsciously, your soul is connected to source, which knows right and wrong. Therefore, you are guilty when you curse people. So if you feel like you are more innocent than the person you were cursing, just by cursing itself makes you guilty, which means that curse could come around back on you, not only yourself, but it could turn around on your children and your children's children or your loved ones around you to affect you somehow, some way. So I'm sure some of you are asking, well, is there a way to curse people to where it doesn't come around on me? Chances are, if you look this up on YouTube and you're watching this and you want to know about cursing, chances are you probably practiced a little occult practice. So I'm going to share some information with you and how you could kind of curse people without cursing yourself. I don't like to call it cursing. I like to call it protection. And I'm going to go into some more information on that, okay? So basically what that is instead of going to your orishas or your neteru or the loa or your ancestors or demons and angels or whatever it is that you work with and going to them and telling them what to do exactly word verbatim to another person, basically what you do is you protect yourself so it doesn't turn back around on you, and then you mind your business, okay? So the reason why a lot of people end up cursing themselves is because they're not minding their own business. When we get our nose into other people's business and other people's energy and consciousness, then that consciousness and energy ends up being attached to you. Therefore, the best way to not be cursed by cursing other people is staying out of other people's business. Now, if you want to curse other people, it's because you're not staying in your own business and you want to be in their business. So the best way to have anything happen to somebody else because you feel like you really think they deserve it is basically seeking protection for yourself from the deities or ancestors or whatever it is that you work with, and then minding your own business. So the less guilt you have, the less curses will turn around on you. which basically calls for a lot of healing. So in ancient philosophy and in ancient cultures, majority of them, or if not all of them, were involved in occult work somehow, some way. The Mayans, the Native Americans, even Hinduism, ancient Cometians were all involved in occult knowledge and occult wisdom somehow, some way, which also means every single one of them also revolve their practice around healing. You got to keep a balance. Why? So you don't curse yourself by cursing other people. And the more you heal yourself, the less you're going to want to curse people anyways, because you're letting go of that energy and you're letting the deities do their job, and it's not going to turn around and bite you in the butt somehow, some way. So lack of healing basically will cause your shadow self to run your life and to run the outcome of your life, which causes self-sabotage and what we're talking about now, self-cursing. So your shadow self is basically the aspect of yourself that is not healed yet. It's the aspect of yourself that you felt abused when you were little, or neglected when you were little, or you were cheated on in a relationship, or somebody stole something from you and you're still hurt and pain behind, so you want to lash out at the world with it. These are examples of unresolved issues that we want to point out at the rest of the world, and we take it out on the rest of the world, and we hang onto that heaviness within our heart, which Ma'at and Anpu, or in other words, Anubis, sees within us when we cross to the other side. So there's a lot of people out here who think they could cheat the universe and cheat karmic and dharmic laws, and that's basically based on ego. So, well, how do you know if you're being cursed? How do you know if you're cursed? If you have a lot of chaos going on in your life, you have a lot of losses, you're losing a lot of money, doors are closing on you, you can't hold on to a healthy relationship, you're constantly fighting and arguing with people all the time. Does this mean somebody else cursed you? Not necessarily, but it means that you're definitely cursing yourself. Why? Because you're misaligned with the purpose that you came here to do. And all misalignment does is brings karmic law and problems and issues and curses and self-sabotaging behavior within our life. Therefore, if you're cursing somebody, let's say you decided to go to your candles and go to your gods and your spirit and curse somebody because you feel like they talked back to you, or you feel like they're saying false things on the internet, or you feel like they're doing something or hurting somebody that you love, and you decide to go to your deities and light some candles and give them some offers, and you want to curse them, and you decided, I want you to do this, and I want you to do that, and I want you to do this. You know what you're doing when you're doing that? You're basically doubting the deities to do it on their own. And you better hope that you are way more innocent than they are, and you are practicing really perfect character. Because if you're not, basically what you're doing is you're raising the awareness of the laws of nature that govern karma to you in your heart and your behavior and your actions. So it's best to let them handle things. That's why we never need to underestimate the power of prayer and self-protection. So basically, self-protection is the concept of protecting yourself and not cursing. So elders in this practice understand this concept of knowing how to protect thyself without having to curse people, which means when you protect yourself, you are innocent in the act. Why? Because you leave it up to the deities, and you believe in the deities to handle nature and handle the laws within karma and dharma, cursing and not cursing, good and bad, for them to do their job, to bring balance to this earth, to bring balance not only to your life, but to the other person's life as well. So basically what that is going to your deities, your orishas, your Neteru, your Loa, and you tell them to protect you from all your enemies. You don't have to give them names. They're not stupid. They know who they are. They're not dumb. You don't need to tell them exactly what to do. They know already. You simply ask them for protection. Say, hey, protect me from my enemies. Protect me from anybody who wants to wish harm on me. Protect me. And then, like I said earlier, mind your business. You move on. You believe in it. The more you doubt it, the less ashe, the less may it be so power you're going to have if you doubt it, because doubt and non-belief is the best way to cancel out your magic. So basically what you're going to do, if you want to curse people without having to turn around on you, you're basically just going to ask for protection, and you're going to leave it alone. And you're going to let it rest, and you're going to leave it in the hands of the spirits that you work with. And that's how it doesn't get turned around on you. When we start giving names out and we start bossing our spirits around, like as if we think we're better than them, and we actually believe they work for us and we're the boss of them, then we're opening ourselves up to more self-curses, because then you're disrespecting the deities that you work with. And then you're going to go into another nonstop cycle of self-curses, and you're not going to know how to shake them off of you. So to resist that, we need to understand the difference between cursing and self-protection. The reason why a lot of these practices have a bad rap is because people you are protecting yourself from tend to get some really bad curses on them, and then they want to get angry at you and act like you did something wrong, with basically they're just guilty. Therefore, even if you don't ask to curse anybody and you are just asking for protection, if something happens to them, again, they're still going through the concept of a guilty conscience. And the more guilty somebody is, the more punishment they will have. So basically, cursing somebody is a concept of fast forwarding karma, or pushing it forward instead of just hoping and waiting that something might happen. Is basically kind of what it is. So a lot of people are basically like, well, why does it work? It's because you're kind of forcing it or pushing it forward. So the more people believe in something, the more conscious. So basically we're living in a collective conscious. So the more the society we live in believes in something, the more you're going to manifest it. For example, we're going through this concept of the end of times. Oh no, ooh, we believe, and all this kind of stuff is going to happen. And it was pushed into our conscious, and not only our conscious, but the conscious that existed before us, which is our grandparents and our grandparents, our ancestors. And we live in this self-conscious of believing that we're all going to live this doomed outcome. Therefore, we self-cursed ourselves because we wanted to live the narrative, because we believe the narrative. Basically, that's what cursing is convincing people to live the narrative. And the more people who believe in it, the higher chance it's going to happen. The more people put more energy into it, whether it's lighting a candle or giving a rat or giving a bird or whatever, the higher chance it's basically going to happen. So how can you free yourself from these curses? Is not believe in it and not live the narrative. You don't want to live the narrative, then you won't have to. That's the reason why we work with these beings. So we don't have to live this false narrative, this illusion, or these delusions that we live in, so we could be free from it. And we give it into the hands of the beings that we work with, that we say, hey, I don't want to think like this anymore. I don't want to walk this path anymore. I don't want to believe in these false beliefs anymore. Can you help me with that? Basically, that's why we work with these beings, so we could be liberated from the delusions and the illusions that we live in, which involves cursing not only other people, but cursing ourselves. So that's all I have for you guys today. My basics on cursing and what happens when you curse people. So in a nutshell, cursing is basically the weight of your heart against the feather of Ma'at. And it's guilt is basically what it is. So the more guilt you have, the more cursing you will have turned around back on you. That's why we need to practice good character and be good people, so we could live our dharmic life and not a karmic life. So I hope all of you watching this are living your dharma today. My next video is going to be on succubus and incubus. If you like that kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I have more wisdom and love to share with you. If you've ever dealt with a curse, or if you've ever cursed somebody and had it turned around on you and you had to do a bunch of work to get it off of you, or if you watched other people get cursed or anything like that, share your experience with me. Shoot me a comment, shoot me a message, and let me know what you did to let go of the curse. Let me know what you did to stop yourself from doing self-curses, because you ended up learning the hard way to stop cursing people. Let me know your experience, because it's good for us to teach other people these experiences, so we don't keep repeating these problems over and over again. Shoot me a comment and let me know, and shoot me a message if you would like any far reading, or if you would like to know who your Orishas are. Let me know. I hope all of you are having a blessed night. Ankh Uchasineb. Namaste. Odabo. Peace.